I am with Rostyslav Burlaka, the founder of RBP Publishing, which is a publishing and printing company based in Kiev. Hello, Rostislav. Good morning, and thanks for being with me today.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So, Rostislav, first of all, where are you, and how are you, and how is your family, and how is the situation? How are your colleagues in the company?
Thank you for asking. Unfortunately, on the 24th of February, Russia started a massive bombing of Ukraine, especially Kiev. So we woke up at 5 a.m. and our house was shivering, and it was very frightful, as we have a little son and two girls. We had to leave our house because it was unsafe to continue staying there. We gathered children, animals, and went for the west. It was a very hard road. It took almost 24 hours, when in regular time it takes 6 hours. So I'm in the West Ukraine, and my family had to move to the Western Europe, as in the first days it was unclear where it goes, and the air alarm was many times a day, making a great stress for children, for my wife. So we made a decision, they moved. And I stay here. The good thing is that we are in a safe place physically, but emotionally, I suppose we can say that you can get out from the war place, but you cannot get the war out from your soul. So we live 24 hours a day with thoughts about the war and people who are dying in different cities of Ukraine who were killed by Russian troops.
So, Rostislav, this must be terrible. Honestly, I cannot even imagine what you are feeling and how you are living. Also, we all see that the situation that apparently was getting better is going bad again.
What we can notice that from one hand it is getting better, as our army pushed the Russians from the north of our country, Kiev, Chernihiv and Sumy regions. This is from one hand. But from other hand, Russia has powerful rockets which they can shot from Azov Sea, Black Sea, or other parts of Russia, and they can injure any of the cities of Ukraine. And you cannot feel yourself in a safety place almost in any cities of Ukraine. As you could see in news, they have shot Lviv, which is the western point of Ukraine. So you can imagine how many rockets could fall on Kiev. And previous night we had again in the news about very loud blowing in Kiev. So the rockets had fallen Kiev again. So from one hand the situation is better, and war moved to the
west, only to the eastern side. But from other hand, we are not in safety because of rockets, as we hadn't received enough support in anti-rocket systems. So the sky wasn't closed, and Russia can do with their air jets and missiles and so on many bad things. They are destroying mostly civil objects. They are trying to terrify and horrify people. They honestly say, we want you to be afraid of us, so then we will win. This is the situation.
Okay, Rostislav. Okay, and what about your business? What about RBP Publishing? Can you tell us a little bit more about you, about what you do, what your company do and produce?
Okay, so it started all first from the internet bookstore. And it was a niche bookstore of psychological literature. Today it is a very popular topic, and many books are published in the field of psychology. So first I started 10 years ago, a bookstore with psychological books. And now it is a separate branch. Before the war, we had some cooperations, even with Russians, but now everything is cancelled, I think for good. No connections with them. So, and with time, it became clear that we can and we should publish books in Ukraine. So let's say 6 years ago, in 2016, I founded RBP Publishing. It is Rostyslav Burlaka Publishing. The name was chosen because of some bureaucratic details, but now it sounds quite nice for many people. So the second branch was publishing. We buy rights abroad, in Europe, in the United States, in Great Britain. We have translators, editors, designers who prepare the product, the book. And we specialize mostly on psychological literature. At first, we were printing our books in different printing houses, but in 2 years, I understood that we can do it by ourselves. And we started from the small room, like 400 square meters. No, 40, not 400, 40 square meters. And there were digital printing machines, and it was something like print on demand. And in let's say in 4 years we grew, I would say, in 10 times, from 40 meters to 400 meters, and created normal printing house with digital printing, offset printing, with hardcover making books machine, soft cover. So we specialize mostly on books. However, we are not a big printing house. I would say we can make for today 10 to 15,000 books per month. But what we have found out that today is that people are in a great interest not in
the big print runs like 3,000 books. No, there are many particular authors which their own auditory, so they want to print like 300 books, and our printing house is ideal for those aims. So so now we have 3 branches: internet, bookstore, publishing house, and printing house.
And Rostislav, how is the situation in the company in this moment?
Very poor, very poor, because the income in the first month of war decreased in 10 times. We are on the edge of survival. I think you can imagine that it is not the first need for people to read books now, or to print anything. However, there are a range of psychologists who works with people who get traumas during the war. So they buy our books, which help them to work with people. This is our biggest client's auditory. We lost many of our clients who were printing books with us. We're trying to get some invoices now, some clients. It's very hard. It is enough only for 1 or 2 working days for people, just for food, to earn money for food. It's hard to predict what will happen next. If the war will last, I think, the half year or more, there is a big risk we will lose everything. Maybe those people who stay at homes even now will also leave the country. We will lose our people, so there will be no clients and no workers. I'm very anxious about this, and it's very frightful perspective.
Yes, but in case you receive orders from other new customers outside Ukraine, would you to be very practical, very realistic, would you be in the position to produce and to deliver?
Yes, we can. We can produce and deliver, as the major road which connects Kiev with West now is available. It was free. Now it is free from Russian occupants, and the cars moving each day, thousands of cars on that road from Kiev to the west. That will be very helpful. And what I have done, we don't earn as a company now. We try to make the prices only to buy paper and to pay people for food.
Okay. Yeah, it's clear. You are not looking for a profit, but you are looking for some money to pay your salaries.
We created everything for 10 years, and many people made their best for this everything to live and to work. And it is very painful now to realize that everything can end. And for example, I know other companies in Kharkov, for example, which was the capital of printing in Ukraine, they cannot even work because there is very poor logistics. They cannot deliver anything or to Kharkov or from Kharkov, and they're in a very poor condition, and many people had left the country, the city, so I even don't know what they will do. So yes, now it's even unclear how we can find the orders in Europe. From one hand, where we can find the market of orders in Europe, so we can offer our prices and our quality. From one hand, it will be, I think, quite hard to prove that you can deal with us, that we are okay, that we are sustainable, that we're that you can trust us. Because if you hadn't seen us, you see us for the first time, you know that there is a war. I can imagine how hard it will be to trust to such a company. But for sure that will help.
Okay, Rostislav, and how a possible customer, how another maybe a print book print or a publisher in Europe or in other countries can reach you? Would you, I don't know, be happy to share your I don't know, yes, phone details or your email?
My personal email and my personal cell phone number and all messengers are welcome to share to people. And just today, if you have any friends who print books or journals or so, I would be happy to contact them immediately and to give offers. And what we are working now on, it's a landing page in Ukrainian language and in English language, so we can give an advertisement on Facebook or Instagram for European customers. I think it will be ready in 2 or 3 weeks, but now it's email and cell phone, and as you know, I answer very rapidly. So
okay, we will share your contacts and besides this video, along with this message, with this interview.
Also,
and
I want to say that it will be very helpful if you can share the contacts of paper manufacturers in Europe. I have to say that before the war, we had our country had quite big relationships with Russian paper manufacturers. Many paper had come from Russia. Now it all cancelled, and all paper comes from Europe. And it is another question that on the previous autumn, became another crisis, a lack of paper, because Europe has very strict quotas for the papers. I mean, they have some amount of paper that they can share with us. They can sell us. And in autumn, it wasn't enough for everyone. We book paper in advance for a month or two, even to have an opportunity to buy it. So now we made a decision to make a direct connections with plants, with manufacturers of paper in Europe, so we can buy paper in there and receive it directly, not through the brokers, buyers,
Okay, Rostislav, it's definitely we all know that the raw materials, the sourcing of raw materials for our companies and for probably for any company in any market today is a big concern. In your case, of course, it's even worse. So, Rostislav, thank you very much for sharing your situation and sharing more details about your company, your personal and professional history, and I hope to see you very, very soon in person. And for the moment, I can only wish you and your family and your employees all the best, and stay safe, stay strong.
Thank you, Lorenzo, for your support. I have to say that without support from European countries, we would be already occupied. Over here, many peoples are very thankful, very grateful for all the money you send, all the weapons, all the houses. You share with our refugees.